Driving through town in the spring of, I noticed that I have for many years now, that the buildings all around me, the businesses, residential, commercial buildings all around me, and government buildings, all of them, have one thing in common, whether they're big, small, spacious, luxury, or fancy. They have one thing in common, and it is that they have zero windows open. No windows open. I am yet to find a business, with perhaps the exception of a few garage type doors or overhead type doors that are rolled open in shops and tire shops, car shops, etc. Apart from that, I do not see buildings with windows that are open. In fact, I see very little buildings that even have windows that are able to open. Many buildings are windowless. The buildings that have windows are quite small and just sealed glass openings without the ability of the person or inhabitants inside to open any windows. The very, very few exceptions are older style buildings that have large window openings, and they have windows that perhaps were once able to open, but they haven't been opened in so long that they are just sealed shut. The buildings that had those large window openings and that have been remodeled and improved, so-called improved, those openable windows have been now replaced with just plain panes, glass panes, meaning they're just sheets of glass that cover a square hole sealed with a frame. That's what they have. And buildings, basically what I'm trying to get to is that they are designed, built, and used with the goal, or with the expectation that air conditioning will be provided, used, and permanently be on. That is good news for the power company, of course. Good news for the utility company that charges the inhabitants, these building users, owners, tenants, exuberant amounts for that power that is pretty much not only a necessity, but it's also a mandatory thing to have in many, many areas, including this one. And it is also a thing that you basically have no choice. I mean, if you can't open your windows and you rather not leave any doors wide open for anyone to come in and out, you will have to have some sort of air conditioning unit, whether it's a cooling unit for the summer or hotter months and a heating unit for the winter or cooler months running. This is basically mandatory. You have very little, if any, choice, and that is troublesome. That is dangerous. I believe that is quite despotic, quite undemocratic, not having a choice. And set up this way over the years, it has evolved and crafted this way by not only the power company, but the government, but the utilities and the interests that are tied up to those utilities, like investors. Many of those utility companies, if not most, are for-profit corporations that are very much funded and catering of investors. Of course, they're not only funded by investors, they are only funded by investors in a very, very small part. They are funded mainly by payers, users, people that have accounts, which is most of us, people that pay for power. And I just found out just recently that power companies are very much incentivized to charge larger and larger rates. Basically increase their rates ever more and permanently, because their rates are controlled by a supposed commission that's set up by the city. These commissions are usually bought and sold by the utility companies, since they are so much more bigger. They have so much more power and funds than these few people that are easily swayed, easily talked into, basically going with the bidding of the power company. The power company is usually a big player in any town or city or metropolitan area, due to the amount of jobs they usually hold. Usually among the better paying jobs are usually in the utility company. And of course, that is a lot of power. That is a lot of leverage that they have, not only with the jobs, but with the money that they can contribute to quote-unquote foundations, quote-unquote funds, or quote-unquote their school system, city's school system, politicians, campaigns, etc. All these are ways to pretty much bribe people, politicians especially, and policymakers, leaders, to do the bidding of the power company. The bidding of the power company is simple. It is to be allowed to raise their rates ever more, be allowed to make money. I found out also that they make money by funding projects, making projects, doing projects. These projects are very often incentivized again to go on for long times, and unnecessarily so. That is why you see and hear about the power companies, power plant projects being going on for years to decades, sometimes even longer. And you also hear about extreme and exuberant and just ridiculous, outright ridiculous overruns, budget overruns. And that is, my friends, why these occur, because the power company is allowed to make profits from their projects, more so than the profits that they make from the payments that they receive from each of the millions of citizens that some of them have, if not thousands to hundreds of thousands of citizens and account holders. After all, everyone wants and needs electric power to be part of modern society, to even be legal in many, many areas. To even be allowed to live in your home, you need to be hooked up to a utility power company. So this is major leverage power. Not only all those, but also I remind you that the power company is usually a monopoly. It is the only player allowed to provide you the service in most areas of the country, of the U.S. And in fact, throughout the world, this is the case. So you basically have no choice. They know it, and they abuse this. They use that leverage. they very much know and make use of this leverage and power that they have, this absolute, almost absolute, and obscene amount of power that they hold and swing around. I noticed also that it is very, very difficult to find complaints, videos on complaints, people complaining and, putting the power utility company, the electric company, in a bad light on the major social media networks such as YouTube. I invite you to search utility company scam or utility company abuse or power company abuse or something of that nature, something in that line of the utility or power or electric company abusing its customers, charging too much and making profits from those charges. And you'll find almost zero hits in those major networks, especially YouTube. And I have noticed, I have made a few videos and chats about this very topic in the past, about, I want to say, from 3 to 4 videos, and they have gotten very, very little attention, as if they have been censored, as if they have been limited. And I believe the powers that be, YouTube and the such, Google, the major networks, suppress any complaints about the power grid, any complaints about the power companies. Perhaps, who knows, they receive support for the power companies. Perhaps the power companies have staff just searching out and killing and neutralizing any kind of dissent, any kind of negative feedback on the social networks. The only one that has escaped this so far, to my knowledge, is Yelp.com. The app and the website, they do have plenty of people reporting, complaining about the utility and electric company. They have a very good amount of vocal people that have put what seems to be quite honest and true, happenings and situations and encounters that they've had with the power company, true stories. I'm not going to say how many of them are true, how many of them are just exaggerated a little bit or a lot. I cannot say. No one can. One thing I can say is that there seem to be also planted reviews, planted comments, planted inputs or posts there on that website as well. People giving the power company 5 stars, and I know of very, very few people that would honestly give your friendly utility company that is always raising your rates and charging you exuberant amount for your power 5 stars. I know very few people that would do that. However, they have found their way to places like Yelp and attempt to cover up any negative result, any negative posts with their own very, very light and happy 5-star posts. Because the last few posts are, I think, usually the ones on top, the ones that you see right away, are the very latest. And these people want to make sure that the power company gets that good lights. I'm not sure if they again are staff members, they are paid to do just this, or they are customers that have been encouraged somehow to do this. I mean, some of them may be true. Some of them may be these, cases where, people are just happy as clowns for whatever reason with their power company that they pay, mandatorily exuberant amounts. Maybe they are millionaires or very wealthy people that don't mind paying maybe 0.001% of their income, when most of America, living in the middle classes or below, are paying between 1 and up to 20% of their income on a monthly basis for power. I've learned of cases of people dying because they cannot pay for power, and power has been disconnected. There has been reports of cases like that. There was even a case that someone's family that died because in part the person lacked power, electrical power. The person was an elderly woman that passed away in parts, and it was determined medically in part that it was because she had no access to power. This family got compensated by a power company. This was reported in the news. I'm sure that it's something that occurs quite often, especially during heat waves, during the hottest parts of the year. A lot of people always get left behind by the power company. The power company is, again, ruthless corporations, cutthroat corporations, looking out to grow, looking out for their profit, looking out for their own existence, looking out to pay off their investors. And this is a bad thing, a bad combination, a bad predicament, bad situation. Utility companies should be governmental institutions, governmental agencies that should not be for profit. Should not, again, be for profit. Because it has evolved, the electrical grid and electric power has evolved to be a necessity. Almost as important as food and almost as important as water. Yet in this country we have found a way to charge and maintain payments, maintain corporations, growth and greed with withholding of water services, water delivery, clean running water to your place you have to pay for, and food. We have found a way to make people pay for what they need to survive and live in today's modern and abundant economy. We have not moved past that, past having to charge for the needs of humans, with the exception, of course, of breathing. Luckily, there has not been a way found to limit and charge for oxygen or sunlight. However, even that may be at stake, unfortunately. So we'll keep an eye on it. I just wanted to mention the outrageous situation with the utility companies, and that there are many protections to keep this monster alive within our government, within our even social media, within the system, the economic system. It is a protected, very babied and pampered industry that needs to be exposed and expelled. It needs to become public property, the property of the people. The utility company and its services need to be the property of the people, just like schools are, just like the delivery of mail is. and like services such as police and fire departments. So too, the distribution of power should be something that should be nationalized for the good of all. Thank you very much.